don't know what's up.
What's going on? What's going on? Y'all know it's another Friday night. So your boy Cool McCain is in the house, and I am joined by my guy, Coach Dante, to my right or left, depending on how the screen looking. What up, Coach Dante?
What's going on, man? Did I just see you a couple of minutes ago,
I
man?
was just thinking the same thing.
How y'all doing, man? An honor to be on here with the con, man. Very excited, man. Like I say, happy WNBA back, and what a good way to tip off BG versus the LA Sparks. And plus, we got some NBA to get back into it. But let's go. I'm very excited for the WNBA as well, though.
You already know. And of course, the man, the myth, and the legend below us, the con man himself. Con man, what's going on?
What's going on, fellas? Uh, these NBA playoffs are the bomb. I'm so excited about talking about the NBA playoffs. And as Coach said, the WNBA is kicking off this season. Hey, it's a great time to be a fan. You know what I'm saying?
1,000% agree. 1,000, man, 1,000,000% agree. So, guys, it's time to get into it. So, I'm gonna ask y'all, where do you want to start? Western Conference, Eastern Conference?
Oh, it doesn't matter, man. We can start in either conference.
Not a problem. We're going to do the damn thing anyway. So whatever you want to go, we can go.
All right. So, Michael says, "Good evening, guys. Great to see y'all. Great to see
What's
you
up,
too,
Mike?
Michael.
My man, Mike.
We're
What's
gonna have to
going
get
on?
you up here one day,
Mike,
Mike, to talk basketball with us, Mike. We got to make that
yeah,
happen.
Oh,
man,
absolutely. Absolutely.
sir, Mike.
All right. So, you know what? We'll say the best for last. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference Finals. All right, Coach Dante. Matter of fact, we gonna let Con Man set it off today. Con Man, what are your thoughts on the Eastern Conference Finals? How things are going? Who you think is gonna win? So on and so forth.
Well, the Eastern Conference is really interesting because you got a whole dichotomy of issues revolving around the Philadelphia 76ers because they got people who have expiring contracts, extensions, coaches getting fired, the whole 9 yards. I think that's taking a lot of things in the Eastern Conference. But as far as the Eastern Finals right now, I like Miami. I like the way playoff Jimmy's doing the damn thing. Right now they're down 35-24. But I like the way Miami's playing because they have consistency throughout the whole team. You got a whole bunch of players, doing the damn thing. The Celtics are, I believe, are kind of in disarray. I know they're putting a lot of heat on the coach, and Tatum's getting a lot of heat as well. But I think the Celtics are a good team. I don't know if it's so much the coach. I just think that Miami was there last year. You all remember what happened when Jimmy missed that last shot last year. I'm sure it's on his mind. I truly believe that Miami's going to end up winning this series. I think Boston may win tonight, but I think Miami's going to end up winning the series because I just feel that they have more depth. Not so much depth, but heart. I think they're going to play with a lot of intensity. They got a better coach. I think they're going to be a better team as far as their culture. I'm just going with the Miami Heat right now. Although the Celtics will win tonight, I'm going with Miami.
Absolutely. And we got another quick comment here from Levette who says, "Great work, guys." Well, Levette, thank you for tuning in,
Thank you.
and we hope to get some interaction with you tonight.
Absolutely.
All right, Coach Dante, on you, big dog.
So, like I say, I'm Boston. I got Boston winning this series in 7 games, but I'll say wouldn't be surprised me if Miami end up taking this series. I'm actually I actually like the Miami Heat. Like I say, the way I talk about Miami, you'll think I would be a fan of them, but just a fan of the culture set they have. Just a fan of Pat Riley and Eric Spoelstra, how well he gets his guys prepared. And what team do you know that have 7 undrafted guys on that team that compete as hard as they do? I mean, they're not better, they're not great, talented wise, but they go out there and compete. And sometimes that's all you need. You need guys with with the mindset and willingness to compete and run through a brick wall. And that's what Miami willingness to do. That's what Miami does. When you got a guy like a Jimmy Butler that's proven time and time again, any organization he goes to, any locker room he gets into, he makes an impact in that locker room. Now he does in the regular season, he's not going to average 30 points, 34 points per game. He's not going to do that. He's going to give you 22. He's going to give you an all defensive team, and he's going to put it all he got. And also, if you're not playing as well and you're not working hard, he's also not going to be afraid to let you know about it. But when you got Caleb Martin, Kyle Lowry, who I think still stealing money, but he's been great in the playoffs. Let's be honest, he's been great in the playoffs. Complimentary guys like Caleb Martin is making a impact on the team. Matt Screws, who Chicago let go after he tore his ACL. Chicago say, "Hey, you can walk. We don't want you no more." He's over here in Miami, putting them up out of the play-in tournament. So when you compliment all that in, yes, Boston is talented wise. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Al Horford and all those guys. But Miami, they have the physicality, they have the heart. They got another guy in Bam Adebayo who can drop you 20 points a night and borderline be an all-star and give you an all-defensive team and protect the rim and can switch on multiple occasions on guard. When you got someone like that and guys like that's willing to compete no matter what team you go against, hey, you can beat anybody. I don't care how talented it is. And that's what I get from Miami, man. They got that work ethic and they put that work in. They outperform and they compete. That's the biggest thing that you're gonna get. It's not gonna never be an easy game. They're gonna make you uncomfortable. And like I say, they defense dissect their offense, and Jimmy Butler makes everything happy. But also, you got to give credit to the coaching and the organization, Pat Riley. From having a no nonsense organization putting this group together.
And also, before cool, you get in. They don't have Hero, and they don't have Oladipo, and to do what they're doing without them two studs, to me that is amazing. That's amazing coaching job. That's amazing how they play together, and true testimony to how hot is the way to go. And right now, I'm telling you right now, I think Miami Heat is going to do it. I really believe it.
I just want to say, comment just stole 2 of my better points. But that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. It still doesn't make it wrong. I just want to add really seriously to this and say this is I said this before. Coach Dante's heard this before. This is the perfect example of better team versus better talent. Boston Celtics have the better talent, no doubt about it. But the Miami Heat have that team that just plays together. And I'm very excited about that. I love to hear it. I love to see it. And hey, the talent may win out, but I'm gonna ride with Khan and say I'm going Miami. I agree. This is the Boston season on the line tonight. If Boston doesn't come out and put their foot on Miami throat tonight, they're gonna get swept. If they can't win 2 games at home, they're gonna get swept. And they're gonna be sitting at home trying to figure out what in the world happened and if they're gonna keep the coach they just signed or not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Boston has to win tonight. Period. But series-wise, Miami should win this. And then we got a couple of comments here. We got John Suggs that says Lakers going to get swept. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes, John. So stay tuned, and we will answer that question for you for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Key, the brains behind Sports Empire Network.
Yep.
Says the 3 C's: cool, con, and coach. Love it.
Yes.
Love it.
Here we
Love
go.
it.
Yes.
And John Suggs says this is just like last year, Celtics all over again. Hey, I cannot disagree with that, John. It fits the narrative. It fits what we've seen. No need to argue. You're right, in my opinion. So let's slide on over here to the Western Conference Finals. Coach Dante, we're gonna set it off with you this time. What do you think is gonna happen in this series? Um, I know the answer. We've been on the same page in this all year, but
Yep.
for those people who may not know,
Like I said, I had
We
Denver,
gonna hear it. We gonna hear it from you. We gonna hear it.
like I said, I had Denver winning the going to the NBA Finals since like since the middle after the All-Star break. I had them when we kind of made our predictions who's the best team in the West. I had Denver going to the NBA Finals. But other than that, I think Denver's going to win this series. I had it in 7, but like I say, if I think the Lakers is under fire, if they got to win this game. This is a must-win 2 games for the Lakers. Very much a must-win 2 games for the Lakers. It's hard to beat Denver in the Mile High City. What I'm saying right now, Jokic, I thought he did a great job on Anthony Davis. I thought he did a great job on him last night. Anthony Davis went 4 for 15 last night. I thought he made him work. I thought he moved his feet well. I thought he forced Anthony Davis to shoot a lot of jump shots, including the 3 in the corner, including the face-up jump shot late in the game. And Jamal Murray being bubble Jamal Murray, showing up to bubble Jamal Murray. But the thing about it, what I got from the Warriors series, then the Lakers series, the Warriors are a jump shooting team. And when you're a jump shooting team and you're missing all those jump shots like that, that's making the Lakers, that feeds right into the Lakers' hands, because now that they're bigger than the Warriors, they're able to out-rebound them. They're able to play in the paint and be physical with you. Instead of Jamal Murray, like Denver, it's a different series. Jamal Murray can shoot, can break you down off the defense, can break the defense down, get to the paint. He puts a little more pressure on you. He has not decent shot creating. And again, you have Michael Porter Jr., who's giving you 16 a night in the playoffs. And Bruce Brown is a hell of a player, man. Bruce Brown, that energy coming off the bench, man. I've been very impressed how Bruce Brown playing. He gets the rebound, move up and down the floor. And for the Lakers, LeBron James takes too many damn threes. He takes too many damn threes. 0 for 6. I mean, he's got to calm down a little bit. He's got to be aggressive. He's got to get to the basket. D'Lo seems to hurt the Lakers offense more than he helps the offense when he's not hitting shots. Austin Reeves has been consistent. Jared Vanderbilt gives you no offense at all, but gives you defense. That's just like playing 4-on-5 basketball, because it gives you no offensive versatility at all. So it's hard to use him. Malik Beasley and Lonnie Walker, when they're not making shots, they're not impactful at all. So it's a lot of problems in this series for the Lakers. And if you're if you think you can go score for score with Denver, you're not going to win this series. You're not winning this at all, winning that battle at all.
comment.
Okay. I have to reiterate what Coach said. Game number 1, Denver got 132 points. Game number 2, Lakers played a little bit better for defense, but you also got to understand that Denver has more length than what the Warriors had. And the fact is, as Coach stated, LeBron's taking way too many 3-pointers, but he's 118 years old, and he's taking them 3-pointers so he can get back on defense. And the fact is, when you be called out, like the Lakers got called out, D'Angelo got called out 3 times, and I know Kuz is your team, and I really am a fan of the game, and I don't really like the way they play is kind of not very fashionable, but effective. And sometimes that works. And I think your team is probably going to end up taking over and beating the Lakers. But I think the Lakers, first of all, they're going home. I think they made the adjustment by having Hoochie Mama playing against Jokic. I think that helps. And come on, I think that helps a lot. But anyway, I think that's very effective. I'm sorry, Coach.
Color Man gets me every time with the Hoochie Mama. He get me every time with the Hoochie Mama.
All right, well, anyway, no, for real. I think by making that adjustment where you can have AD be more of like a facilitator, like a mid-ranger, middle linebacker, that might help as far as calming down Jokic. But Murray, I mean, my man went off the hook. Like Coach said, he's like the bubble guy again. And Lakers can't have that. I feel like I would like the Lakers to win, but if they don't take these two, it's over. It's a wrap. Is it going to be a sweep? I don't think it's going to be a sweep. I would like LeBron's legacy to move on, but I truly do not believe it's going to happen this year. I think the Denver Nuggets are well fit. They're well equipped. They have good coaching. They can play the half court offense. They can play the speed ball, transition ball. They can do whatever they need to do to get the job done. And the way Murray's playing right now, it's going to be tough. And plus, they're very physical. They got bigger length. They got bigger size. And that is causing a problem with the Lakers. And that's going to be the sign, is the physicality of the game, I think. So I'm going with Denver to win the series.
Let's get it. So I'm going to go ahead and start with some comments here, and then I'm going to give my thoughts.
Oh, we know
John
that.
Suggs says Schroeder has to step up, and after what I have seen in the playoffs, I see Lakers moving on from D. Russell, something you kind of touched on as well, Coach. Key Williams says AD with his up and down scoring every game, he would score 30. The next he gets 11, or in this case, with 40 and 13. But hey, we've been saying it the whole time, so we know that. That's agree. But that's who he is. So John says one thing Lakers improved on from game one was rebounds. Agreed. Key says Jokic's shot is ugly, but it goes in. It's definitely ugly. His play is ugly as well, but it works. And then she says, do y'all think Bron's age is catching up? So these are all things that I was going to touch on, Key. So wonderful, masterful job of climbing into my mind before I went. But I want to just take a few moments here. So all season, we've heard the Denver kind of prove themselves. They're fraudulent, as well as Memphis and Sacramento. Memphis and Sacramento have never been there before, so I can understand the disdain for them. But this is a team, don't forget, 2 seasons ago, well, 3 seasons, excuse me, in the bubble, they were in this same position, but were not ready and got smacked around by the Lakers. Right? But that was a Lakers team that had a guy in Dwight Howard who could go up to Jokic, beat him up, be physical with him, and didn't care about scoring. So could focus on shutting or attempting to shut Jokic down on the offensive end. LA didn't have an answer for Jamal Murray then. They don't have an answer for him now. You look at the role players and guys that stepped up for us. At the time we played them, Michael Porter Jr. was a rookie who didn't play the year before because he was injured with his back situation. He's got a little bit more seasoning. He's missed time. He's got a little bit more seasoning. Understand the game. Things have slowed down for him a little bit. Aaron Gordon was added to the team. One of the reasons was to be a guy defensively that you could put on LeBron James. And I mean, I'm not attempting to sit here and say anyone's going to stop LeBron James, but you want to make LeBron James work for every bucket. Gordon, and when he's dialed in offensively, which is not that often, very rarely, but when he is, Michael Porter Jr. do a good job of playing defense on LeBron. Then you have Jokic. You throw him out there. He's guarding AD a lot of the time. AD's not guarding him anymore because they decided to make AD a floater. So here's the problem with that, LA. This is where this is going to burn you in your rear end. As soon as Aaron Gordon decides to start catching those little flick passes that he was catching all year from Jokic and dunking the ball when Anthony Davis tries to slide off of him and go for the bucket, what's going to happen? We both know what's going to happen. AD is going to either have to come back on Jokic and get in foul trouble, or he's going to have to stay on Gordon, and it's going to allow Jokic to put in that work on Rui. Rui cannot guard Jokic. Stop the captain with that. That's not happening. It's the come over help from Anthony Davis. It is not Rui Hachimura on defense. Don't do that, league. Do not do that, commentators. Do not do that, fans of either team. Tell the truth. Excuse me. Tell the truth. That's not what's happening. The Lakers are not out of the series by any means. Okay. And got a couple of comments here. Let me throw those up. We've got Key Williams, great minds think alike. Absolutely. Big time himself, Douglas Brooks says, gentlemen, shake my head. He's a Lakers fan, but Doug, you're not out of it yet.
He is. He is.
And then Michael says the Denver's organization may be setting the precedent when displaying patience with their head coach. We're going to talk about the guys that got fired, Michael. I love that comment, sir, because the organizations that give guys time normally work out better than these guys who every 2 or 3 years they're kicking coaches out. But we would definitely get to that too. So thank you, Michael, for bringing that into the conversation. The Lakers are not done yet though. We did what we're supposed to do. Everybody sees 2-0 and goes crazy. I said this last series. I said it in the first round. Denver was supposed to win the first 2 games. They were at home. So all they've done so far is hold home court. Now you need to go to LA and take a game so we can get this done in 5 or 6 games, right? That's what you're looking at. Like this is what needs to happen next. You come out of LA 2-2, we're talking about a 3-game series. So I'm happy with what Denver has done so far. I'm admittedly a Denver Nuggets fan, been one, but I'm not going to sit here and try to act like because we won 2 games at home with our home court advantage of the altitude that all of a sudden we're the greatest team to ever play basketball. I do believe we're going to win the series in 6 games. I said that before the series started. I'm sticking to that. I know the Lakers are going to come out in game 3 and give us everything they got, as they should. Would I like to go up 3-0? Absolutely, I would. But realistically speaking, if we can get one of these 2 games in LA, then I feel good about our possibility of closing this out in 5 or 6 games. We lose both of the games in LA, we turn it into a 3-game series. 2 of those games in Denver, 1 in LA. So that does give us an advantage there. But the quicker we get it over with, the better it would be for us if that's something that can be done. This may go 7 still. Let's pump our brakes, everybody. We're both going to make adjustments. But right now, I'm feeling good about the fact that we have 2 games under our belt and we only have to win 2 of the next 5 games to go to the NBA Finals. That's definitely an advantage that I am enjoying. So, Coach and Con, I know I didn't brag as much as y'all thought. We haven't got to that point yet. It ain't time for that yet. That only comes if we win 6 more games. Then that's what we talk. Still got some more work to do. So, even though this is a basketball show, I just want to take a moment and send a big RIP out to
Jim Brown.
Jim Brown, yes, thank you. Had a brain fart. Jim Brown and there was a wrestler who passed away as well. So shout out to his family as well. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but just wanted to at least acknowledge, the families and condolences to them
Absolutely.
on their losses. We've missed some people, but we try to do better. I wanted to talk about the coaches that have been removed from their stations. So we've got Monty Williams, of course. We've got Doc Rivers. Yes, it was Billy Graham. Keith, thanks for that. Like I said, another brain fart. We did get another comment from John here saying about Coach Patience, one team that does not compare to is the Celtics. 2 different head coaches and back-to-back Eastern Conference Finals. But John, with the Celtics, it's a little bit different. They would have liked to have Ime Udoka for a long time, but situations arise. But I do feel what you're saying that it is accurate in the statement itself. So for the coaches, so if I remember correctly, we had Mike Budenholzer, who was let go. We had Monty Williams, who was let go. And then we also had, of course, Doc Rivers, who was let go. So, gentlemen, whichever one you would like to start, your thoughts on those 3 head coaches and where those organizations go from him.
First of all, I didn't think Doc Rivers. Well, like I say, I think James Harden campaigning for Doc Rivers to be fired. I don't think they didn't have a great relationship. So I thought the fire was more on James Harden. Since he now it's coming out is that he's leaving, that he's supposed to be coming to Houston. That's what the rumor is. We'll see if it's true or not. But other than that, him and James Harden didn't have a great relationship. Now it's coming back and forth. The trade rumors about Joel Embiid, which I don't think that's really true. I think Joel Embiid really went to Daryl Morey and said something about improving the team. What could he do to get this team better? What could he do to get better? But I thought Doc Rivers did all he could to win that series. It's just, the MVP, that cried and whined and moaned didn't step up at all. James Harden didn't step up. in game 6 and game 7, 4 for 16 in game 6. Was passing up a lot of open layups in game 7 as well. So both of them is hold accountability for that. But Joel Embiid deserves 90% of the blame because he's the MVP at the end of the day. He cried, he whined about the MVP and did not step up on multiple occasions. Hell, James Harden, the reason why you won two of those games alone by himself. So other than that, I believe it's more. I believe it was you got Tobias Harris on the contract that they gave him. They chose him over Jimmy Butler. At the end of the day, the team was not athletic enough. It was not good enough to be a finals worthy team. But at the same time, Joel Embiid, you expect your best player to show up, your MVP to show up when it matters the most. He did not hold up his end of the bargain. He did not show up. He checked out in game number 5 when James Harden was carrying the team in that fourth quarter when PJ Tucker consistently had to get in his face. James Harden, the one stepped up in the game 7. Nobody showed up. Including Joel Embiid. So other than that, Doc Rivers, I understand why they fired him because the lack of adjustments. I understand why they did it, but at the same time, Doc Rivers did all he could, to help them win that series. It's just Joel Embiid and James Harden didn't step up, especially Joel Embiid didn't step up when it mattered the most. He clearly checked out in that series.
Oh, and I did forget to also add Nick Nurse into that as he also got uh, unceremoniously discharged as well.
Okay, gentlemen, do you guys realize that 3 of the 4 coaches you named, they won Coach of the Year, and they're gone after 2 years? Just think about that. To me, players make coaches. Coaches don't make players. Any coach will tell you, you got to have the weapons, you got to have the guns, you got to have the players. As far as Doc Rivers is concerned, the man's won a championship. He's been through the rings. He's been around a long time. I think there might have been some communication problems with Harden, but guess what? He had him at Oklahoma City. He had him at Houston. He had him at Brooklyn, and now he had him at Philadelphia. So sometimes you got to look in the mirror. I don't think Doc should have been let go this year. I think give him another chance. And of course, Embiid wanted him to stay as well. So in that regard, I think Doc should have had one more year. I know a lot of people are upset with Doc, but I think one more year would give. And then, trust the process. How long do we have to trust the process? It's been almost 8 years. So you got to look at in that point. Now, as far as Budenholzer, the man won a chip. He won a chip 2 years ago. 3 years. He won a chip. And a lot of people don't like the way he's coaching. Again, as I state, players make the coach. If Giannis didn't get hurt, if he didn't have the problems, who knows what would have transpired with the Milwaukee Bucks? But things happen. Now we're gonna talk about Monty Williams. Same thing. People get hurt, and then expectations happen, and you're not gonna get rid of the team. You're gonna get rid of the coach first, and that happens to be what transpires. And I me being from kind of both sides of the fence, I kind of lean towards the coach as well, because a lot of these players have guaranteed contracts. A lot of these coaches have guaranteed contracts, but at a shorter rate. So their leash is a lot shorter than some of the players, I think. And so as far as Monty Williams, great guy, great coach. Players love him, except one. We know who that is. So we ain't going to go there. But what I'm saying, I just think that sometimes, you need to have that structure and build that culture. I think by changing coaches all the time is not the answer. You got to change the culture, change the way the team is being run. You got to do more to that aspect in order to keep some type of consistency. And I feel that with these owners just getting rid of coaches so fast, I have a severe problem with that. That's me. I'm old school. I'm 108 years old. I'm old school. I think the coaches you need someone to have that experience, to need to have people in there who are gonna really help transcend the culture. And I'm not saying that some coaches shouldn't go, but I just feel real bad for the coaches because they give their heart and soul. Do you know what it takes to be a coach? Do you know what they have to go through? I mean, it's a tough position, and you really have no stability. You really have no security. It's a tough job, and I just want to give my props to the coaches and the ones that have been fired. They'll hook on with someone else, and they'll be all right. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's about the team, and it's about what is best for the team. So, again, I feel bad about the coaches. That's my only point. Go ahead, Cool.
So, a couple comments here. John Suggs says Budenholzer's next team, in my opinion, would be in this order 76ers. He's a firm believer in load management and managing a player's health. Looking at how Bud coached two-time MVP Giannis Antetokounmpo, he only played him on average 32 minutes per game. Also, Bucks is their biggest rival, and he knows Bucks' weaknesses. Okay. And then
Okay.
Key says Nick Nurse got interviewed by the Sixers. He also got interviewed by the Bucks, I think, if I read correctly. Michael says allegedly the NBA is a players' league, but the coaches are fired. The players lack accountability. That's really true.
Very, very true.
Then John says, I think Monty goes to the Pistons, especially with number one pick and rest of the young guys on that team. I think he works well with the young guys and developing them. John, I don't know if you saw, but the Pistons didn't get the number one pick. It actually went to the Spurs.
Yes, they
Um,
did. Yeah.
yeah. So another thing to talk about there in a minute, of course, is that number one pick and what do the teams do that didn't get the number one pick? Just, question. Um, for me, we'll start with Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse, his voice was no longer resonating. Um, it was sad, but I knew that was coming. That team just hasn't been good since Kawhi left. He got the championship there, so it bought him some years. But I think his voice in a different area is better. Like him going somewhere else and starting over, I think it's going to be best for him. Budenholzer, I said this throughout the whole campaign when the Bucks were winning the championship. If they don't win a championship, Budenholzer gets the boot. They won a championship, he didn't get the boot. He got 2 more years to try to at least get back to the Eastern Conference Finals. And by hook or crook, injury or not, he didn't do it. So the more I thought about it, the more I'm not surprised that they did get rid of him. At first, it was a shock, but I really thought about it and how there was a lot of questions before he won that championship. Championship bought him a couple of years. And I don't think it's that they didn't win a championship, but you think about last year, not this season, but last season. Second round exit. This year, first round exit. You're going backwards. You're probably going to make a couple more changes, but I thought this was a good thing for them to try to get a fresh voice in. Monty Williams, we know what happened. You lost the locker room. That's what happened. You cannot coach a team if you don't have a locker room. Doesn't matter how great of a coach you are. Doesn't matter how great of a person you are. I think Monty lost that locker room. Now, a big part of the situation with Monty is, and a lot of people are going to be upset when I say this, and I don't care. Chris Paul is not who you guys thought he was. He has never been a champion. He never will be a champion in his career. I am sorry. I like Chris Paul. I don't think he's the greatest point guard of all time or should be in that conversation. He has 0, and I mean 0 championships. How many times has he been to the NBA Finals? If I remember correctly, once. So stop that. Chris Paul is also, from all reports, going to be being shipped up out of Phoenix. As they showed you when he was out against Denver, they can play better without him. They no longer need him. Chris Paul's getting to the point in his career where he's got to accept the veteran mentor role, or it's time to leave, bro. That's where you're at. The big money contracts are not coming anymore. You still can give a lot to the game, but not as a starter, not as one of the featured players on the team any longer. You gutted your depth, Phoenix, to get Kevin Durant. He didn't make up with what he does for what you gave up to get him. Maybe you add some pieces this offseason, you retool a little bit, maybe you'll be better. The biggest mistake that Phoenix made, which I don't think was any fault of Monty Williams, was you went out and you brought in the guy that didn't like him the most and re-signed him to a long-term contract. So if I'm Monty Williams,
Bingo.
I say you went out and re-signed DeAndre Ayton. I'm clearly not going to be here much longer because I don't like him and he don't like me. You're making a financial commitment to him, which is more than what you've made to me. Monty's going to land somewhere else, and Monty's going to be a doggone good coach, whoever he lands with. We'll see how that plays out, but that's that. Now, Doc Rivers. I got to take a breath before this. Got to take a breath. We'll go ahead and put John's comment up here. Oh, you're right. My bad. No worries, John. These drafts, man, and these first round picks and who's winning, whatever, it can get a little crazy. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Sup, Daniel? Appreciate you checking in with us as well, man. Doc Rivers should have been fired last season. Doc Williams got a great season, and he did the same thing he's been doing out in the second round. Philadelphia Sixers fans have even said a lot of this themselves. But there's other problems on that team. Where is the
agree with you.
Yeah, so many problems. James Harden should not have been brought into this team. James Harden was brought in to help campaign for Embiid to get his MVP, which he did a masterful job of because he's done this for himself as well, so he knows how to do it. On the court, diminishing returns for James Harden. You think about from Houston to Brooklyn, now to the 76ers, he has not been the same guy since that last year in Houston. The last full season in Houston, I'll say. Joel Embiid, Cottonelle soft mentally. Got to step it up. That's something you can overcome. You got to work on getting that dog and you and letting it come out more. You are a big man. You are versatile. You're athletic. You should be dominating like Jokic is. You don't impact the game, and not necessarily on the passing end because that's not a skill that you possess as much. But defensively, physicality-wise, those things, we need to see a lot more out of Joel Embiid. And maybe it's coaching. Maybe you give him a guy that's going to put him in the corner and say, look, you're going to do what needs to be done, or you're not going to be here, or you're not going to play. We're going to put this other guy in, this young guy, and we're going to groom him if you're not going to do the job. And I think he's one of those guys that's kind of had it easy as far as knowing, like, my spot's been guaranteed. So maybe we need to start guaranteeing that spot for him. Because I want to see more from Joel Embiid because he is the last of this breed of big guys that really can play at that height the way that he plays. Because Jokic can't play that way because he doesn't have the skills. He doesn't have the athletic ability. He has the skills and the mental capacity, but not the athletic ability. Let me put that correctly. All right. And Key says, facts. Yes, didn't even want Harden. Of course you did because you understand basketball. You know what he was going to do to your team. And then John Suggs says, if Doc Rivers went to the Raptors and turned them around, people would change their opinion on him. John, if wishes were kisses, lots of people would be in a better situation in life. Doc Rivers is not going to go turn around the Raptors because Doc wants to preach defense and then scoring after that. These guys now don't care about defense. Doc would have to go to a team where he could curate the people that are brought in. I think Toronto, if we were looking at a team that's open right now, is the best spot because they do somewhat get after it defensively, but he would frustrate them offensively with the way he has them play defensively. I think Doc needs to kind of step back for a year and just reevaluate his coaching philosophy with the players that you have today, and then make a comeback in the right situation. That's what I think for Doc. I don't think he's done, but I think a year away from the game would be very helpful for him in understanding, watching, breaking down how these guys are playing now and what he could have done differently versus what he did. I think the other three coaches have a good opportunity to get a job this year. Someone, maybe Toronto, may hire Doc. I would wait a year before I would express any interest in Doc. Personal opinion, of course. I'm not an NBA executive with any way to hire anybody, but that's what I would do. Excuse me. So that's my thoughts from that.
Yep.
Did you guys have any final thoughts on any of the coaches before we move on?
Oh yeah, Monty Williams. To me, I didn't think like DeAndre Aiden played like a soft pony. He plays like a soft pony, and I don't think he wanted to even be in Phoenix anyway. So I don't understand that resigning. He clearly wanted to go somewhere else because him and the dispute with Monty Williams told him that he was playing soft, that he gave up, and it's clear that he gave up, and it's clear when he's not motivated, he gives up and he quits. He shows the signs of being soft and checking out mentally. And you seen he was pulled from game. He was pulled. He was pulled from game 5 pretty much from not competing hard or for Jock Landale. So other than that, I don't feel like they should have, like you said, they should have brought him back. I thought he wanted to go. It just happened that they kind of matched the offer sheet. He didn't clearly want to be there. So other than that, Nick Nurse is a solid coach. He will fit. I think he will fit good with these 76ers. But like I say, 76ers got way more problems. It ain't always the coaches. It's the players not performing as well too. Or sometimes you don't got you got a general manager in Daryl Moore who's shown the ability to go out and get players, but they're not good enough players. But other than that, you need to be able to count on your star at the same time. You need to be able to count on Joel Embiid at the same time. But other than that, it's the problems is beyond, management and coaching for the 76ers and for Milwaukee. Just basically Giannis being hurt kind of played a little impact. But again, he was on the court at the same time, so I'm not going to give him that excuse. And Mike Budenholzer did change around the Atlanta Hawks organization and led them to a couple of very good seasons. And him to able to go win a championship, a lot of people said his talent, but hey, you get it how you can. But other than that, we're gonna see how it goes, man. We're gonna definitely see how it goes.
All right, fellas, I gotta make a statement. This is really, it means a lot to me. For the first time, Mike Jackson is finally getting the opportunity to at least interview for a damn job. To me, that means so much. This guy has gone through the ringers, and to me, all these coaches, it's like a circle. They go round and around. They end up on each other's teams, and this man deserves a damn chance. And I'm so happy that he's getting the opportunity, and I'm glad that I have the platform, or we have the platform, so I can say this. I hope that someone takes a damn chance and gives this man a chance. He is a man who can lead men. We got these coaches here who cater to the superstars. We get a man who can lead men. Give him a damn chance. Let's see what's going on, and I'm glad he's had the opportunity. I mean, it's nothing official yet. I've heard he had interviews with Milwaukee, Detroit, whomever. Give the man a damn chance. And that's all I got to say.
I was hoping I'm with you, Con. I was hoping he'd get an opportunity somewhere. I thought he would have got that opportunity. He's forgotten all about and how well he groomed that Golden State Warriors team.
Exactly.
He put the winning mentality, the winning culture in that locker room when they were down bad. It's just Steve Kerr put a better system around the players. He put a better system around them, but Mark Jackson put the winning culture and showed them guys how to win and taught them guys how to win, how to play together as a team, how to play together as an organization. Steve Kerr probably put a better offense in the gear to make them groom together, but Mark Jackson put a better winning culture and changed that really organization around, because at the end of the day, now that Steve Kerr got 4 championships, like I say, I don't want to go as far as a great coach yet, because he came in with the talent around him. He didn't have to really do too much. But like I said, a championship is a championship. But other than that, I would like to see him with someone like the New York Knicks and see how well he coaches those teams. Instead of
wouldn't that be? I mean, come on, wouldn't that be the best thing?
Yes, instead of coaching a Klay Thompson or Steph Curry, who's already kind of developed in their own right minds. And he got fired after he led them to the second round of the playoffs. He got fired. I thought that was unfair how Golden State kind of treated Mark Jackson.
And coach, not only that, He's been blackballed. And give the man an opportunity. That's all I'm saying. Uh-oh, Koo got something to say. Go ahead, Koo.
I'm gonna agree. I think
Yep.
that you have to give a guy the opportunity. Um, Also, public service announcement for Golden State. Every championship that you win, I hope that you're sending Mark Jackson a ring,
He should.
and that's dead serious.
Yes.
Every ring that you win, Mark Jackson should be getting a ring because if you did not have Mark Jackson there first, you would not be doing what you're doing right now. And you can not. I'm not attempting to take away from Steve Kerr because he did give them that extra push,
Yes.
but you don't
Yeah.
get an extra push if you don't have the foundation built. I can see Houston would have been, I think, a good spot. I think Ime Udoka is a good spot there, but Houston would have been a good spot. Detroit has an opening. That would be a good spot, right? Teams that have a young team that needs to be developed. I think that's the niche that Mark Jackson is great in. Then it maybe you allow him to take that team and build with them. I do hope he gets an opportunity. I don't know about Milwaukee just because we saw what just happened with a guy that won a championship 2 years ago. So we know
Right.
that they're not playing with you. They will get rid of you. But
Uh-huh.
I don't have a problem if that were to happen as well. But I am very excited that he is getting those opportunities because he does deserve those opportunities. And we have to do that. We have to give guys opportunities when they just earn them, when they've shown and put in the work. They need to get the opportunities. And I think he does deserve an opportunity. I don't know if a team's going to actually pull the trigger on giving him the opportunity. But as you said, Con, he's at least getting interviews, which wasn't happening before.
Yes.
Yeah, one thing I want to bring up before we kind of move on as well, is like you don't want to take away Steve Kerr's success, but I'm gonna bring you back when Steve Kerr got suspended. I believe when Steve Kerr didn't get suspended, but when he was absent, what showed you how good Golden State was.
When
You
he
remember
was
that
sick, yeah.
year they were 30-0 when they were 30-0? You remember that year when they were 30-0? They went 30-0 with Luke Walton. That showed you how
Mhm.
good the team was alone. That showed you how good the team was alone. And so, like you said, they should run a ring every time Mark Jackson is in that arena. He should have 4 championships along with Steve Kerr for how much he developed that team, or at least have a ring for his appreciation, how he developed Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Steph Curry, because that showed you how good that Golden State Warriors team alone. Luke Walton, he's not even a coach no more in the NBA. He can't even get a damn job. And he goes immediately 30-0. And people think, oh, it was Luke Walton plays a part. And yes, you're going to get recognition, but the players get that recognition on how
Exactly.
goddamn good
Exactly.
it was. And when he was able to run his own organization, you see the Lakers run him up out of there. You see Sacramento run him up out of there. Now he doesn't even got a job anymore.
True that. True that. True that. Yeah. I agree.
Hey, I ain't got nothing else to say on that. That's pretty much sums it up. So just another thing to touch on here. I know we got NBA basketball as well as WNBA basketball going on. So everyone that has tuned in, obviously, and checks in with us, contributes in any way, greatly appreciate you. But we've had the NBA draft lottery here, guys. So from 14 up to 1, just want to go over the teams. We don't have to talk about a specific player, but after I go over the teams, there's 2 teams that I would love to get your input on what you think they should do. All right, so start by giving everybody the order. So at 14, the New Orleans Pelicans will be choosing their first pick. At 13, Toronto Raptors. At 12, the Oklahoma City Thunder. At 11, Orlando Magic, and this is from the Chicago Bulls. Keontae George. They'll be making their pick. At number 10, the Dallas Mavericks will be making their pick. At number 9, the Utah Jazz. Number 8, the Washington Wizards. Number 7, the Indiana Pacers. Number 6, the Orlando Magic. And in the top 5, the Detroit Pistons are at 5. The Houston Rockets are at 4. Portland Trailblazers are at 3. The Charlotte Hornets are at 2. And of course, the San Antonio Spurs won the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes. So obviously, San Antonio is going to pick Victor Wembanyama. But my question for you two gentlemen: first, if you have any thoughts on any of the placement of the picks, cool. Feel free to give those. But my second question on top of that, if you want to delve into that at all, is what do the Charlotte Hornets and Portland Trailblazers do at 2 and 3? Portland was literally one number off from being a number one overall pick, and then Charlotte was one spot away from being a number one pick, as has happened to them before. So if you're the Charlotte Hornets and the Portland Trailblazers, what would you do with the second and third picks? Anything. Keep the pick a player, trade down, whatever you think they should do with it. It's open season. So Coach Dante, let's start with you. What would you do, and then if you have any thoughts on the draft order?
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan of this draft. I'm a big fan of it. I think Charlotte they definitely should keep the goddamn pick, and it's going around that Scoot Henderson. He's a dynamic talent coming up out of the G League Ignite. Brandon Miller. I think Brandon Miller is going to turn out to probably be the best player in this draft outside of Wemby. I think Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller reminds me of a Paul George type guy. 6'9", shoots 38% from downtown. Can handle the ball, can play great defense, can put the ball on the floor. He can play on ball, he can play off ball. I think they're getting a superstar in the making on whoever drafted him. A lot of people say Portland should trade the pick. That would be interesting. Now, if they draft Scootie Henderson, do they trade Damian Lillard? Or do they go after, Brandon Miller, which is they did get Shaden Sharp last year in the draft, in the NBA draft last year. It's a lot of talk around Portland. Should they trade or should they go ahead and take somebody? Take Brandon Miller or Scoot Henderson. But I think Scoot Henderson will be drafted by Charlotte, and I think Brandon Miller will end up in Portland at the end of the day.
All right.
All right.
And Con Man.
Yeah. What's funny? All right. Now, you know me, I did a damn thing, but I'm looking back. Look at this year's potential draft picks. 4 of them are coming from the G League. So my question is, how important is it to go to a 4-year college? Or go one and done? I'm really skeptical because look what happened last year. 2 of the top picks were from the G League. And this year, it seems like, besides number 1 pick, 3 of the 6 are going from the G League. So that's my interpretation of that. As far as what things should do, Portland, Damian Lillard's always said he wants to stay. Should they use that pick to get some leverage, get some better free agents? Probably, but I don't think they're going to do that. And I think that it's kind of tough. I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do. Now, do you want to take a chance on taking that pick? And it depends on what you want. You want to build for the future or you want now? If you want something right now, maybe use that pick to possibly get 2 or 3 free agents with that pick. Or do you want to take the time and wait? To me, Charlotte, we know they've had a historical downfall for years. Now, do they want to do something to better themselves right now? Or do they want to continue to build, let's call it the process? Do they want to prescribe to do that? I think all depends on ownership and what the teams want to do. Do you want to win now? Or do you want to build for the future? And another thing, you got a lot of these teams who have 2-3 players who have max contracts. How do you handle that? Because if you're going to build without max contracts, then you're going to have your base is going to be very weak because you don't have enough money to pay the other players. So what do you do in that regard? So to me, it depends on the philosophy. You want to win now? Do you want to pay these superstars max dollars and in him your bench or your role players, or do you want to go and build the process? And that's my take.
Okay. So a couple of comments here. We got Keith still Ryan with us. She says, I'll take him in Philly talking about Mark Jackson. And she says, facts. How you fire a guy who was winning and then you blackball him? That's not right.
Ooh.
Then she says, facts. Nobody knew this kid from Davidson was, but Mark Jackson did. John Suggs says the Hornets go after Brandon Miller.
Mm-hmm.
He also says how Detroit was the worst team, but they number 5. Then she also says needs to change the lottery. A lot of hot takes there, Key. A lot of hot takes there.
Key's on point. Key's heated. She's heated right now.
Key bringing that hot fire.
Key is getting into it right now.
See, and this is what many people don't understand. And like I say, I tell everybody, Rockets Twitter was going crazy. And see, this is why I say, what's the goddamn point of tanking? What's the goddamn point? You might well goddamn win. Just because this ain't NFL. You got to realize this ain't the goddamn NFL where you tank automatically when you know the team is not good, you get the first overall pick. This is not the NFL. You got to depend on a damn lottery ball or a lottery to give you a simple pick. So I'd rather just go full on. I'd rather just win games instead of tank. The last 2 times we tried to tank, we were number 2 and we were number 3 in the draft, which is, like I say, it's going around, that we could trade the pick for a player. But other than that, it's still a great person that we can actually get in the draft that Ime Udoka would love to kind of use. So I'm okay with being the number 4 overall pick. But people got to realize this ain't NFL. This ain't NFL. You can't tank. You can't just say tank. That don't mean you get the number 1 overall pick. And what's really bad about it, San Antonio has the number 1 overall pick. You know what happened? They had the last time number 1 overall pick, Tim Duncan. You remember that man, Tim Duncan, right? And that man, David Robinson, those 2 Hall of Famers right there turned in. And now Wembyama. Now he may have a little question. I got some questions about his durability coming in. He's gonna have his durability like Chet Holmgren. It's already a question out there that his durability. Now he didn't even end up playing. He didn't end up playing this year. You're going to see more of him next year if he stays healthy. But other than that, hey, it's not NFL, man. You can't just say tank. You can't just say tank. Just because if you tanking, hey, that don't mean you get the number 1 overall pick in this scenario.
And also, before you guys cool interjects, I think they played Coach Salas as the scapegoat. They put him in there knowing that he didn't have no damn talent, and a young talent, I should say. And they put him in there to take the heat. You know what I'm saying? I feel bad for him. What's going to happen to him? You think he's going to get another chance?
No, he's going to be an assistant coach, but
I have to be an assistant, work his way back up.
I do give him a lot of blame on Steven. I do give a lot of blame on Steven Silas. If you lose the locker room, you don't deserve to be the head coach of this team. He lost the locker room several times. And he was basically a puppet. If you're a puppet, that shows that if you getting told by the general manager who to play and who you can't play, and the players and the GM is enter your practices and disrupting your practice, telling you what to do and how to do it in your film studies, then the players didn't respect you. And if you lose the locker room and the players don't respect you, then you need to go. Steven Silas a lot of times acted like he didn't know what he was doing, but he's a good assistant coach. And he making coach older guys, veterans. He making coach veterans the right way, but I don't think he's a coach for the right guy. I don't think he's a coach for the young team. So I have to give him a lot of blame on that. For losing the locker room and not knowing what to do in certain situations.
Hey, his dad wouldn't accept that. Damn well his dad wouldn't accept that.
Oh, no. The player's gonna respect him. And John, it's a big difference between him and John Lucas. We are undefeated when we have John Lucas coach. So that tells you something right there. The players buy into John Lucas. The players love John Lucas and they play for John Lucas. That tells you something right there. And Paul Silas, he don't play no games. I think these players will play for Paul Silas if he would coach If he would coach, I think these players would play for Paul Silas.
Well, Paul passed away, but that's cool.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Coach Dante. So for me, Charlotte Hornets, you've got two options. You keep the pick, or you move down, stay in the top five, and gain other assets. The Charlotte Hornets need big men. They need guys who can make plays in the post, guys who, can play the 4 and the 5, bang, be a big presence, young and athletic. You can still get those guys if you move from 2 to 5, 6, 7, even the 4, trading with the Houston Rockets, maybe, right? You can still get those guys. So if I'm the Hornets, I would entertain trading the pick down. I wouldn't go any lower than maybe like 5 or 6, where you would still have an opportunity to get Jarris Walker, the power forward from Houston. I think he's going to be a good guy to play that position, and I think he's a guy you can still get at 5, 6. So I would go down. I probably wouldn't go down any lower than that, but I would probably go down that low if you can get a trade partner, right? Portland, I would take either Scoot Henderson or Brandon Miller. And the reason I say that whichever one of them is left, if Scoot's there, I'd get him, and I would try to get assets for Damian Lillard. If he's not there, I'd get Brandon Miller and start to build for the future. Whether that's you keep Lillard or not, you got to build for the future. Lillard's not going to play forever. I think at this point in his career, he's finally said this offseason, after they lost and didn't make the playoffs, that, hey, if the fans, if y'all want trade me, hey, start letting them know. So I don't think he's going to ever say it himself, because that's been his soapbox. I want to be here my whole career. But I think he's starting to understand if he wants to ever win, ever wants to reach the upper echelon, for him, it's not going to happen there. So the move is going to have to happen if that's going to, be part of the situation. But I think if I'm Charlotte, I would try to trade down, stay within that top 5, 6 range. Maybe somebody wants to come up to have an opportunity to get Scoot Henderson or Brandon Miller, because you're going to have to get in front of Portland to get either one of those guys, right? Because then you can control who you get. Charlotte still stays within that top 6 picks or so, gives them a chance to get a guy at power forward or center, which is their positions where they desperately need an influx of young quality talent. Scoot Henderson would be a good luxury pick for the Hornets, but you're not in a luxury situation. That's just, my thoughts on those 2 picks myself. But gentlemen, we have reached the point in the show where a couple of comments here, and then we can give our last thoughts. Any shout outs? And we can roll up out of here for the evening. All right, so we got a couple of the comments here. So John says, excuse me, a person no one mentioning but been getting interviewed for Bucks is Frank Vogel. He was fired because he didn't maximize Westbrook. Then what Lakers do the following year with Westbrook? I have more issues with Frank Vogel as a head coach than him managing Westbrook. I think he did a better job with Westbrook than Darvin Ham, but I think you saw the writing on the wall with Westbrook, and you weren't going to win with Westbrook on that team because the other 2 stars did not commit to doing what they said they were going to do when they brought Westbrook in. And then Keith says the Thompson twins. Yeah, they're good. But like I said, if I'm the Hornets, I'm looking more towards either a double point guard, a smaller guy that can guard some of the quicker point guards, and like a Scoot Henderson, or I'm trading the pick and attempting to get some extra assets, whether it be maybe another versatile role player that you could bring on, another draft pick, whatever, to try to, give myself more talent, because Charlotte needs some more talent, period. Yeah. I think Frank Vogel just wasn't the guy long-term for the Lakers. I said that when he hired him. I didn't think he was, so I just don't think he is. Keith says also Melo needs help too. And then John says, outside of playoff teams, New York, you think they should move on from Randall and try to bring in Anthony Towns? So I'll answer this and I'll let y'all go.
Okay.
Randall sometimes doesn't play hard, but sometimes he does. Karl Anthony Towns sometimes decides he wants to be a basketball player, but often not, he doesn't. So I would not do that. If you want to get rid of Randall, it's fine, but I would not bring in Carl Anthony Towns.
I definitely agree. He plays way different in the playoffs as well. That's another guy we need to start having questions about too. He checks out in the playoffs. If you get when you get outplayed by Clint Capella, yep, and Jimmy Butler have to let you know about it and beat you with the third stringers at practice, that says a lot about Carl Anthony Towns as well. So he's another guy that has this supposed to have this all world talent and doesn't step up in the playoffs. Doesn't step up in the playoffs and can't even you. It's he's so quiet. It's like he's not even on a team in the playoffs. It's not like he's in the team. So yeah, he's another guy. I don't know how big of a difference that will make for Julius Randle at all.
Yeah, I would rather keep Julius Randle than have Carl Anthony Towns on my team. I'm sorry. UConn man.
Well, I would like if they could have both of them and not get rid of one. Keep them both. You know what I'm saying? If they can somehow work that out with Brunson, I think that could be a factor. And also, guys, Towns in Minnesota, who knows about Minnesota? Who cares? They got you in New York City, you got to play. You know what I mean? I think that might put a spark. And like Coach said, he always goes down in the playoffs. I think he's still young enough. Sometimes it takes players a little bit longer to adjust, to realize what's going on. I think he could be a good fit in New York City because the heat is going to be on him and he's going to be held more accountable. In Minnesota, he's not held accountable. Not really. In New York, you got to be held accountable. So I think if he could go to New York, I don't want one for one. If somehow they could get him to play alongside of Randall, I don't know with the salary cap, I don't think it can happen. But if some way they can do that, I think that would be great for New York City. I think it'd be great for the franchise. I think it'd be great for the excitability. I think with the fact that they made the playoffs this year and all the excitement it drew to New York City, and at the end of the day, New York City is where it's the Mecca. You can get them to be a competitive championship type team that will work. So I think if you could get him along with Randall, not switch him up. That's my opinion. But I'm old as dirt, so maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
All right, guys. So we'll start with you, Coach Dante. Any last thoughts? Any shout outs?
Man, just shout out to the network for having me on, man. Make sure y'all come back, man. We got some WNBA action coming up. Los Angeles Sparks versus the Phoenix Mercury. Man, happy to get excited. Back WNBA is back, but shout out to my boy Cool and my boy Con Man and Key Freddie for having me on. Honored to be up here to do these shows with you guys and talk ball with you guys. And we heading down to the last stretch of the NBA season, so I'm excited.
Well, let me say something real quick. My man, Coach, my man does a tremendous job on the play-by-play. Y'all need to tune in. I tune in every night. He's probably tired of me because I'm always tuning in. But, he does a great job. And as far as I'm concerned, I am having my show next Thursday, Sports Con with the Corn Man. I'm having my man Robert Bobby Reed, All Ball Chicago. If y'all know anything about Chicago ball, you need to tune in. It's going to be a great show. Of course, my crew, y'all welcome to come on as well. But yeah, we're going to talk some Chicago ball, Ronnie Fields, Kevin Garnett. We're going to talk Isaiah Thomas. We're going to talk all ball Chicago next Thursday on my show, Sports Con with the Corn Man. And of course, my man, Cool, thank you for having me on your show. I love this show. I love you guys. And Key, enough said.
Hey, listen, man, shout out to both of you guys. Y'all don't have to say thank you for allowing to come on. Y'all have open invitations. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all for real. Shout out to Sports Empire Network. Making a lot of moves this year. Make sure you tune. If you have not already, make sure you hop over to YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe. Just type Sports Empire Network into your search bar. And when you see this logo that's up in the top corner of Coach Dante's box there, you're at the right place. Hit that subscribe button. Check out the shows. A lot of different things going on the network. A lot of great shows. wrestling shows, WNBA shows. If you like Lakers shows. Um, you know, shows about different topics, all sports related, but lots of different things. So hey, hop on, check out the things. A lot of shows are very interactive. It's the place to be, and we coming. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to end for the evening. Appreciate everybody that watched. Appreciate everybody that checks out the replays. And hopefully we'll have you guys back next week for another groundbreaking ripping episode. Top of the Key podcast, and we out.